Alright guys, Dokkan has dropped the second clue already for the part 2 LR, and it's more of the same, except I'm gonna need you guys to either come really close to your screen or turn up your brightness. Because not only is it going to be a pure Saiyan unit, but I don't know if you can see it here really faintly, there is a symbol of a domain as well. So, in terms of who this unit could be, it could be one of two characters. Movie Boss, Pure Saiyan, that leaves Broly or Turles, and the domain I think kind of confirms who we're going to be getting. And my pick is Turles. The reason being is for the domain, which I don't know how they're fully going to do this, but I mean, it's Dokkan, they could easily make it work, is you're going to have an LR Turles, which again, we don't actually have in Dokkan. This LR is the Team Turles, so they are two completely separate characters. Is once he eats the fruit of the Tree of Might, you can then have the Tree of Might domain come up, and then that is how the domain functionality works with Turles as a part 2 LR. The reason why I don't see it being Broly is because he doesn't really help the teams that Metacooler does run. Nor do I think he goes on Metacooler's 200% lead or 220% lead fully. I think he just goes on the 170 lead side of things, whereas Turles will go on both. Not only that as well, Turles will help buff, and I said this in yesterday's video, the other categories as well. While it might not be Wicked Bloodline, you have Movie Bosses being buffed, and then you also have Terrifying Conquerors also being buffed as well, which of course is under the Metacooler army's leads and helps buff those two categories simultaneously, which for the last few months have been buffed, starting with Beerus to now Metacooler army, the Easy A's, the Super Easy A's, and also Terrifying Conquerors following on from that with the new Metacooler army unit. So I don't think it's going to be Broly, although they could somehow do a Broly, but I just hope it isn't, because it just doesn't fully make sense unless Broly's going to lead into the next Dokkan Fest that comes out in 2 weeks to 3 weeks time. But I think it's going to be Turles. It just makes the most sense. Movie Boss unit, Pure Saiyans, a domain actually works. It would be great for the Metacooler army team. He inadvertently buffs Movie Bosses and also Terrifying Conquerors, which is being buffed over the last celebration. It just all makes sense. The other thing I've seen as well, which I didn't really pay attention to too much, which is my bad, from the first clue is, prior to getting this one last night, is people actually paid attention to this here, which I just assumed as a basic, well, this is 1 out of 2 clues, and now today it's 2 out of 2 clues, where people were like 1/3 or 1/2 Android 13, which could have been a shout, but now that we've got the Pure Saiyans clue, it's obviously not going to be Android 13. Some people have also said, which I didn't even think about this either, so fair play to you lot, you've been killing it recently, proper going in depth, but as I always say, the on-the-nose clues with Dokkan are typically the right ones, is the fact that, well, the part 1 clue was a Movie Boss. The part 1 unit is Metacooler Army. That's a Movie Boss unit. The second clue is a Pure Saiyan unit with a domain. Maybe we're gonna get another Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta from the Metacooler movie, which would be pretty sick, but considering the LR has the Easy A from a few years ago, I don't think that's going to happen. And while I do kind of like the thinking, I think that's a pretty sick idea with the whole, like, second clues of Pure Saiyan, it could literally just be a Pure Saiyan unit, scrap the Movie Boss side of things. It just kind of doesn't fit. You know, Metacooler Army's team, whether that's the Movie Boss side of things, Terrifying Conquerors, and even Wicked Bloodline, they are all 3 categories that are currently getting buffed and boosted right now. To then drop just a solo Pure Saiyan unit that doesn't help the team at all works well with the Dokkan Fest, just doesn't really make sense. So while it would be quite sick to get a new one, then we could see the LREZ, etc, etc, maybe they can link together, that would be great. Maybe not for this. This I do think is, as I said, very on the nose, which typically Dokkan does, which is the part 1 clue is it's a Movie Boss unit, the part 2 clue is it's also a Pure Saiyan unit, it's got to be Broly or Turles. I'm going with Turles. But with that being said, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments, your theories of who you think the unit is going to be. But let's see what you guys have been saying in the comments. Immediately I'm seeing Turles. Yeah, it's cool going to be LR Turles, but did you notice they have a domain? Yep, again guys, turn your brightness up. Look, go really close to your screen. It might be bad for your eyes, but you can see that there is a domain. Then I'm seeing Paragus and Broly. I mean, fair. I didn't even think about the target Goku side of things. I actually really didn't think about the target Goku side of things, I'll be honest. Do you know what? That would be a shout. Paragus into Broly, and then Broly goes immediately Legendary Super Saiyan. I kind of want Broly a little bit more now, I'm not going to lie. I actually really do like this idea. This is something that we don't have, nor that I think we would ever get. Yeah, that's a shout. That is a big, big shout. The Fizz Turles could easy A. Not only that, goes on Metacooler Army's team. Needs it a hell of a lot. Probably due an easy A. This guy was also doo-doo upon release. Really due an easy A. That's actually a shout. I mean, I thought it was going to be Turles anyway, but then dropping those as easy A's would actually be pretty sick. That would actually help out movie bosses quite a lot. And Terrifying Conquerors. Then we get some Pure Saiyan support with, like, the Goku. Yeah, no, I'm here for that. 100%. I mean, it's obviously going to be Turles or Broly, but I really do like this idea. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Marco. That's actually a pretty sick idea. But I do think it's going to be Turles. I didn't think about the possible easy A's. That would be pretty sick if the Fizz Turles easy A's. Again, boss the team, boss movie bosses, boss Terrifying Conquerors. Needs an easy A. The Spirit Bomb Goku can then buff other categories that are already in a pretty solid space, but then also make them both usable because they both kind of died out within a month to 3 months of release, so that would be great, so they can actually have like a proper go around this time around. I'm here for that. And then maybe if Dokkan's feeling a bit generous, they can drop a super easy A for AGL Turles. They probably won't because we've already got one in Cooler, but it'd be pretty sick if they did, especially giving the teams all the help they can get. But I think it's going to be an LR Turles. Some of you clearly think it's going to be an LR Broly. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Or do you think there are two separate clues and this is the actual clue suggesting that we might get an LR Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day. And peace.